Welcome to the ESU Warriors Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese from Bigfoot Country 103.1 FM. We are at Jimmy's Ice Cream on Crystal Street in East Stroudsburg. I've got ESU head football coach Jimmy Terwilliger. I've got Chuck Curry from Pocono Cinema and Jimmy's Ice Cream. Chuck, thanks for hosting us here tonight.
Not a problem. Glad to have you.
It's always great to be out in the community talking Warrior athletics, and that's what we plan on doing tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about ESU football. They've got their home opener coming up this weekend against IUP. We're going to talk about other events happening here in the Poconos with Warrior football and Warrior athletics, and we're going to get the chance to sit down and talk with a couple of Warrior football players. Devante Robinson and Reigel will join us. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back and get things started here on the ESU Warrior Coaches Show. Welcome back to the ESU Warrior Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese from Bigfoot Country 103.1 FM. Again, the ESU Warrior head coach football team, Jimmy Terwilliger, is here. Chuck Curry from Jimmy's Ice Cream is here. And guys, it's great to have football season back here in the Poconos. Chuck, I know you're a big supporter of ESU athletics. I see you at soccer matches. I see you at basketball games, at football games. What does the community tie with ESU mean to the business community here?
Well, for me personally, I was looking for something to enjoy beside what I do for a living. And I've always been involved with the community. I'm heavily involved with Pocono Cinema, which is a nonprofit movie theater on Cortlandt Street. So I've done a lot for that theater with my time and effort. And I like to see people do good things. Really, that's really the bottom line. And I enjoy employing a lot of the college athletes. That has been a highlight for me owning this business beside just the daily routine, to get to know these people as people and understand what makes them tick, not just as athletes, but as people. I find that very exciting, and then to see them and to know them as people, and then to go to the game and watch them compete. It's a really, for me, a very special, unique experience, and it's something that I really have loved.
Well, we can't thank you enough for hosting our first edition of the Warrior Coaches Show, Chuck. And Jimmy, it's important to have ties to the community like, Chuck brings to the table. As I said, we see him at all kinds of Warrior events. That's the type of thing that a coach can only dream about having.
You talk about people that make a difference in young people's lives, and then Chuck, from our football program, I know what you do with softball, lacrosse, and every athletics department. It's really awesome to have the community support. And anytime you can get a milkshake, talk some football and sports, we're cooking with peanut oil. But it is really neat. And Chuck, we thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
We're going to be bringing this show to different places around the community, so make sure you stay with us at esuwarriors.com to find out where we're going to be throughout the football season. All right, let's get right to it. Season opening game at Pace. I don't think anybody expected the outcome, but man, it got away from you kind of early in that game. Special teams, I have to ask, is that something that was a little bit of an emphasis in practice this week?
A little bit. We had our quarterback scout team special teams this week. It was that important. It's a phase of the game. It has major impacts. You talk about it, you be about it. But heck, you ain't going to win many games, and the opening kickoff gets returned, you fumble the second one, and the third one gets put on the 2-yard line. So major emphasis for us. But I look at the positive side of things. I'm always going to find things to grow with. We've started off 1-0 for the last 3 years.
Yep.
And we've got growing pains real early, which is good. We want to play our best football in the latter part of this year. So if this team, with the talent that we have and the great drive that this team has, can rebound, refocus, refuel, and put together some really good days here and games, we're going to be all right. And I'm proud of their effort. We need to improve, but the efficiency, the execution needs to go.
All right, coming up a little bit later on, we're going to talk to a couple of Warrior football players in Reigel and Devante Robinson, and these are guys that haven't really played much for pretty much 1,000 days. They lost their season last year to injury. The year before that was a COVID year. So, man, if there's two guys that are raring to get going in the 2022 season, it's got to be those two.
I look at how special athletics is to a young person's life, and it's no more of an example than Isaiah and Devante. Both came off of a COVID year and had season-ending injuries, in their senior year. For them to be able to, do what they've had to do to be able to come back and play sports, it shows you how important this is to people. And I'm proud to coach them. I'm proud to coach young people like this. It's not just our sport. We've got many other sports in East Stroudsburg where people are doing the same. I think they're a great representative of our university, and I'm proud to be able to put them back on the field and do the things that they love to do.
We're going to take a quick break here on the ESU Warrior Coaches Show, but when we come back, we will be talking with Devante Robinson and Isaiah Reigel. So stay with us. We're at Jimmy's Ice Cream on Crystal Street in East Stroudsburg, and Chuck, with the kickoff at 6 o'clock, what are your hours like on Saturday if people want to come by and get an ice cream before the game?
We're open every day, noon to 10 o'clock at night. Come
All
on
right.
by.
Come on by. Crystal Street in East Stroudsburg is where it's happening. We'll be back with more of the ESU Warrior Coaches Show right after this. Welcome back to the ESU Warrior Coaches Show. We're at Jimmy's Ice Cream on Crystal Street in East Stroudsburg. Glad you logged on to ESUWarriors.com to check out this show. We've already spoken to ESU head football coach Jimmy Terwilliger. Of course, the game coming up this weekend is at IUP. We'll be at Eiler Martin Stadium with a 6:05 kickoff, and we'll have live coverage on Bigfoot Country 103.1 beginning at 5:30 on Saturday afternoon. I'm joined by two Warrior football players. We talked about it before we took our last break that these guys have not seen the football field with the exception of the game last Thursday night. But coming into that game on Thursday night, these guys had not played a football game since 2019 because of injuries that took place at the beginning of last season. Isaiah Reigel, a defensive lineman for ESU, and Devante Robinson, a running back for the Warriors. Guys, thanks for joining us here this afternoon. Tell us what it meant for you to be away from the team but then get to come back and rejoin the team for one final year here at East Stroudsburg University, Isaiah.
It's definitely special to come back, be welcomed back by my guys, my teammates, my family. And really, that's what it's all about. We have a big family. We talk about blood running thick, and they supported me all the way from the injury to coming back and getting to play with them one more time. It's just special.
You know, I saw an interesting perspective about that because when we go on the road and even when we're at home, we always stop by the parents' tailgate on campus or whether they're in the parking lot outside of another stadium. And your family was there regardless of whether you were on the field or not. They stuck with the team. They continued that family spirit. What did that mean to have that support from your family?
It means a lot to me to have my parents, always come out and support, whether I'm on the field playing or whether I was off the field last season with an injury. I was able to do my part for the guys last year, bring value in any way that I could with my injury, whether it was just supporting my teammates, being there for my guys, watching extra film, helping guys break stuff down. And it's just wonderful to have everybody around and be there.
That's awesome. I'm going to turn to Devante Robinson now because I saw you on the field prior to the Pace game last Thursday night. You were so ready to go. It must have been a very, very difficult thing for you to be away from the game that you loved for so long. Talk about that.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like Reigel said, the support was definitely a good thing, but in my heart, it's what I love to do, and it definitely hurt not to be able to play a full season. But we're here now playing my guys. It's time to let it rip.
When the injury took place, and I remember it well because I remember watching practice when it happened, and you made pretty much the decision right away. There was no question in your mind that everything would work out well, you would rehab and you would join the team. How did you know that was the decision that you were going to make on the spot?
Well, once it came back to me that was a full tear, I already knew what I had to do and what I was going to do, which is rehab, get stronger, get faster, do what I do to get back here, because there was no doubt in my mind that I was not returning to football. That wasn't an option. It was just... But my option I had was, what's the best shape I could be to come back? And that was it. There was no not returning.
And you've certainly shown that. What's it feel like now to be back taking reps, taking hits, taking handoffs?
I love it. I love it. There's no better feeling than this.
All right. Well, the guys are going to be in action on Saturday night against IUP. Again, the kickoff at 6:05. We'll have live coverage on Bigfoot Country 103.1 beginning at 5:30. I want to thank Devante Robinson.
Thank you.
I want to thank Isaiah Reigel for being here. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I just want to remind you, we are talking about other Warrior sports tonight. The Seese Soccer Campaign Stadium is going strong. They're going to have a virtual event coming up on Tuesday, September 27th at 6 p.m. It'll give you the chance to reconnect with Warrior Soccer alum and friends and supporters, and you're going to learn a lot about the Seese Stadium project. And you know what the Warriors have done with the renovations to the baseball complex down in Stroud Township. They're trying to do a similar thing on campus with a facility that is dedicated to soccer for the men's and women's soccer team, and it's a pretty exciting thing. If you want more information about the event, you can contact the ESU Foundation at 570-422-3156. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll wrap things up from Jimmy's Ice Cream. You're watching the ESU Warrior Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese, and we'll be right back. Are you ready?
Ready.
You're always ready. It's the ESU Warrior Coaches Show from Jimmy's Ice Cream on Crystal Street in East Stroudsburg. I'm Chuck Seese, Jimmy Terwilliger, the head football coach at ESU, Denny Dowds, the former and the,
Some old guy doesn't have any hair.
No,
they found on the street. They dragged him in here for the show.
They call it the house that Denny built, for goodness sakes. That means something.
No.
Hey, I want to mention before we go any further that coming up on September 30th, ESU Baseball is hosting their golf tournament. You guys playing? Probably not. It's during football season.
It's
I
tough.
have another obligation.
All right. Well, I can't get there either, but Coach John Kamansky is looking for golfers. They're looking for sponsors. It's going to be a shotgun start at noon on September 30th. You can go to esufoundation.org/baseball golf 2022 to get more information on that. I am told that about a month after that the gentleman sitting to my right is going to be inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. Is that true? Do I hear that right?
Well, that is true, but that only happened because of a lot of people. And we're grateful to all of those people, all of our former players, and all of our former coaches and coaches in dealing with that. And one thing about coaching in that situation, you don't get there by yourself. You got to have an awful lot of help. And it's greatly appreciated for all the people who've been in our program. Greatly appreciated that Jimmy taking it over and heading up the mountain, and he'll get see the top of it too.
Coach, I do want to ask you though, what did it mean for you to be able to come here, put a program together, and at the same time surround yourself with good people that worked with you to establish East Stroudsburg State College at the time as a football power in Pennsylvania?
Well, I was a young buck at the time. I mean, 4 years out of college, I had to go get a road map when we were playing East Stroudsburg for the state championship. I was dating my wife at the time. I came out of church, had to get out of the service station, and said, "Jude, we got to find out where this place is." Needless to say, 4 years later, we were here. And listen, for coaches to be honored in that and have that type of a program, it's not what the coach knows. It's what the coach can teach, what they know to the people that they have at that particular time. And that's a great tribute to a lot of people that absorbed an awful lot of information and had a great opportunity to play a great game of football.
Well, you have learned many lessons from this guy. I have probably forgotten more lessons than, not nearly as many lessons as he has taught in his years as a football coach, but also as a professor as well. I mean, still teaching classes at this day and
I
age.
still stop in every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 8 a.m. He's got his classes.
And what are you auditing?
I'm just looking at what's new in locker room gossip. It starts every class off like that, and most of our guys that have ever taken the Principles of Coaching class know that's how every class starts. But no, you talk about people that make impacts. Coach Douds. Our program is built around his foundations that we learn. Now, I do have a question for you, Coach. How many different Hall of Fames are you in? I mean, it seems like a pretty stout
The wheels are turning. He's thinking.
About 7.
The answer's not enough.
That's it.
So on that note, we're going to say thank you so much for joining us. ESU football coming up Saturday at 6:05 at Ira Martin Stadium at Gregory Dowds Field, the house that Denny built. IUP Crimson Hawks coming in, but you can follow along every sports season at ESUWarriors.com. Men's and women's soccer is underway, field hockey is underway, cross country is underway, and even the winter sports like wrestling and basketball are starting to get their seasons going. So there's lots happening on campus. Get up to East Stroudsburg University and find out what's happening, and we hope you'll tune in again next week. We'll be coming from another location in the Poconos, so log on next week and find out where we're at. Thanks to Jimmy Terwilliger, Denny Dowds, Isaiah Reigel, Devante Robinson, Chuck Curry, and everybody else associated with our our first attempt at the Warrior Coaches Show tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll tune in again. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Very good. So
Thank you.
Hey, good job.
Good job.
Always a
We got it
pleasure.
off the ground.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
Hey, we're going to be at the
Sarah Street.
Sarah Street.
All right. Hey.
I won't pull it out from underneath it, I promise.
Is this all the guys under 80? I can
Scooch
sit.
up a little bit. There you go.